Hey, uh, sorry for being late. Lots of things are happening in the world and in ways and like many things. So, uh, what we are going to do this AMA weekly, and nothing can uh, change our plans. So let's get down to business. It was a very hectic week, I must say, like in general and for me personally, but it's okay. So let's get down to your questions. Your questions were collected by our team before the AMA. So yeah, so let's go through them. Let me open document. Okay, let's get down to your questions, guys. First question. I think the Wave Network project is magnificent. Okay. In which area do you intend to expand the NFT project in the future further? What is your next plan? So if you are speaking about NFTs, so we have a Net-Zero project within Wave ecosystem. It's like an inter-metaverse protocol. And at the same time, it will probably help us with NFTs as well. So we're gonna build an NFT marketplace on top of that protocol. That will be some kind of like agnostic marketplace. It is gonna work not only with Waves, but with other chains. And I think it's quite important to have your NFTs on all chains and in all metaverses. So this is our plan. And if we are like more serious about NFTs, I think that like NFTs need some kind of like new life, you know, so like because the current setup, technical setup, is pretty basic, and I think it's not sufficient for NFTs to really work in the real world. So maybe we can connect NFTs to like a real world copyright, for example. It's like you can encode digital art into NFTs themselves, basically, for example. Yeah, so something like that. So just to give you a taste of this idea. So you can just like take a piece of digital art and do some encoding, put that like code into an NFT, encrypt it, and when somebody wants to use your art, they have to borrow this NFT from you. Otherwise, they can't use it. It's like some kind of like a copyright on a technical level. I think something can be done with this. And in this case, NFTs will be really important. You know? So because for now, I think it's just some kind of like, it's more of a toy than a real tool for example, for digital art or for some kind of in-game items. So I think NFTs need some kind of like technical improvement. Next question. How is Duck's team will maintain that the game is retail friendly? The price of egg had a history price around $1,000 per egg. I think that would be hard for to be a player if the thing happens again. So we are launching, the guys in Duck's team are launching Duck's Hunt. It's like augmented reality game based on duck metaverse, and it's somehow like disconnected from what happened in this metaverse before. There's like a new token which is called Spice that you have to collect when you are looking for eggs. Like you have to like walk around and or like drive around and look for eggs actually. And when you find them, you get another token which is called Spice. And actually, it's a new token somehow disconnected from egg token, but at the same time, egg token holders will benefit from Spice because you need to actually have a duck and to start collecting Spice. and you can generate a new duck using X. So we try to build on top of what we have built before, but at the same time, we need to make sure that people don't need to learn too many new things when they start playing Duck Hunt. So let's see how it goes. I think that the applications will be approved in the stores next week, and there's going to be some kind of marketing campaign, of course. So let's see how it goes. I think it's a very interesting thing. Some kind of like augmented reality games. I think they're going to be big, and they're just starting. So we are happy to be like participating in those games when they're like just launching. So next question is, what is Power DAO? So Power DAO is a project that we're gonna launch this year, and is gonna try and solve the problems we see with DAOs, with governance in crypto, and also in general. Because I think that the problem of crypto governance is not crypto, and this is something else. Actually, you try to use the models that you use in the real world for crypto DAOs, and I think that you can really benefit from decentralized governance when you come up with new models that don't exist in like real world, and only then blockchain technology will shine and will really add value to governance. So Power DAO is built on a new approach, which basically rewards you for making good decisions, making good governance decisions, and punishes you for making bad decisions. So if you're like a good governor, you get more tokens. If you are a bad one, you have to stake some tokens, and those tokens will be taken from you. So it creates some kind of like skin in the game mechanics, which is very interesting not only for crypto projects but also for like real world governance. Because you can see that some people are making decisions and they basically bear no consequences for bad decisions. So we are going to change that. Next question, what is Waves Camp? So Waves Camp is our portal for developers, with documentation, with tutorials, with developer support. So we are very serious about onboarding more developers now, because this is what we have always lacked. We want more developers. We did have a few, maybe like quite a number of like passionate developers, but okay, of course it's pretty hard to compare with, for example, with the Ethereum ecosystem. So we need to grow. So, and for L1 blockchains, it's very important to have more developers, because what is an L1 blockchain? Basically, it's a platform. Actually, you're creating a platform for developers. And you're working not on applications, you're working on a platform. Your application is a platform. Your application is an application for other applications. So, of course, we can build something on our platform on our own, but the goal is to make sure that other people build on Waves. And now we're going to be launching Waves Camp. This is a program for developers. After that, we'll have a series of hackathons. We're launching Waves Incubator that will provide funding to startups on Waves. And there's going to be a Waves Launchpad, another Launchpad on Waves Exchange. So it's a holistic program for developers, for attracting more developers to Waves platform. Next question. Most investors are just focusing on the token's price and short term rather than understanding the project's true value. Can you tell us about the motivation and benefits value for investors to hold their tokens over the long term? I think, guys, it's pretty simple actually. So we're trying to do something different from other chains, And if we are successful with it, probably it will be reflected in ways token price. So we're doing our best, actually. Our goal is to try and show some different directions of development for crypto. So maybe it's not so mainstream, but it's okay because we're trying to be different. And if our approach works, Wave's market capitalization will grow, obviously. So we are not working with VCs. We are like the only funding round we had was the ICO in 2016. So we work for the people. And if you believe in our vision, probably should participate in the Waves ecosystem. It doesn't mean you have to be like an investor. Just participate, see what's going on. There's a lot of very interesting things happening in Waves. Are there additional collateral mechanisms for neutrino? For example, gold, USDT, BTC. Actually, it's a good question. I would have replied no some time ago, but I have a very interesting idea about neutrino, and I have to formulate it. So, like, maybe do some, at least some kind of like a blog post. But as I said, it was a very hectic week. So there is some new interesting ideas, but I don't have enough time to basically formulate them. But I think this idea will be announced, and to give some like taste of it, this is going to be some kind of like decentralized central bank or people's stable coin. So this is going to be a stable coin which is explicitly based on DAO mechanics, because the problem with algorithmic stable coins is very simple, actually. So there is some algorithm that you encode into the stable coin, but you don't think usually about all possible market conditions. So that algorithm works like most of the time, maybe like 99% of the time, but there are some like corner cases when that algorithm stops working, so as it happened, for example, with Luna, and the problem is those stable coins, those algorithmic stable coins are not adaptive, because to be able to withstand all like attacks and to be able to exist in all market conditions, those algorithms have to adapt, have to be adaptive. And probably it's a good idea to use crowd intelligence, like the intelligence of the community, to adapt those algorithms. And it means that those stable coins have to be built as DAOs explicitly, so that you could change the algorithm based on the decision of the community. This is the idea in a nutshell. There is some like other aspects to it that I will announce soon. We will announce soon. But the plan is to actually create, as I said, a people's stablecoin. That stablecoin belongs not to developers, a stablecoin that belongs to community. And I think I have a pretty clear plan for that. So please stay tuned. And in this case, if we do that, it is possible to have also other types of collateral for neutrino. I think it makes sense to have different collateral for neutrino or for any algorithmic stablecoins right now, because probably we are experiencing the bottom of the bear market. And if you're buying up some volatile crypto now, in 5 years, it will grow in value maybe like 10x or more. So it makes sense to actually back your stable coins with volatile crypto right now from like a money making perspective, I guess. Next question. What strategies do you have to sustain the growth of the Waves ecosystem and encourage people to build their project on Waves. As I said, we are launching a Waves Camp program for developers. We are launching the incubator. We are launching a new launchpad for new projects. Also, we're working on like new Waves or Waves 2.0, which will be like scalable and will support also L2 solutions. That is like blockchains built on top of like low-level blockchain, and that L2 solutions will support EVM actually, because everybody has been asking us when we're gonna have EVM. I think we need to have it, of course, yeah, because it would attract a lot of developers to Waves. But the question is how to do that in such a way that it really benefits Waves. So I think it's a good idea to build L2 chain with EVM virtual machine. So this is the plan basically. We're going to build an L2 on top of a new L1. That's the plan. Next question is, what's next in Waves updates? What will new updates add to the Waves ecosystem? What benefits will these updates have for the Waves trader? I think there are like two big things now to be announced soon. Power DAO, that should be like something bigger than Waves. It will be focusing on Waves initially. For example, it will create a DAO for investing in Waves projects, like community-based investment. But it will also reach out to other communities, and I think it will be agnostic. The goal is to create a platform that could work for like any type of governance, and not only for Waves, but for everything, more or less. So I'm very excited about this. And another big thing for Waves is the new version of Waves protocol, and we are like working on it now. We are moving not too fast because we are really thinking about some like tangible improvement, so we want to make sure that this is something that is really valuable. It's not something for marketing or just to show that we are like moving forward. We really need to try and solve scalability problem. So that's what we are trying to do, and it's taking us it's taking a lot of effort. So, but in any case, I think we're approaching some kind of like a final phase of discussion, and soon we will announce what we do with the new L1 protocol for Waves. And what benefits will these updates have for the Waves trader? I think if you're talking about Waves token price, I think we will have to, resolve our neutrino issues that are pretty well known to our community. Resolve the Vera situation, which is pretty bad, I must admit, but it will improve soon. And after that, we will definitely see some like increase in Waves token price, because we have a lot of updates, a lot of projects are launching, we have a lot of projects in our pipeline for the launchpad. So we just need to resolve the issue that we face. Next question, how will the Waves ecosystem grow? What kind of work is being done to increase the efficiency on the Waves network? I think I kind of replied to the question. So we are focusing on governance, and we are focusing on new models of governance that hasn't been tried before. We are focusing on onboarding new developers. We're focusing on new L1 protocol for Waves. So we are going into different directions, trying to focus on the most important applications of crypto, namely governance. And as I said, and I'm actually said this many times, the real problem in crypto is scalability. It's not government, it's not like governance, regulation, it's just scalability. When we have scalable, fast networks, they can really change everything. Until we don't have them, so as long as we don't have them, crypto will not really change the world, unfortunately. So we have to really solve scalability problem. How much waves ducks work on farm hunt? You need a duck to play duck hunt. So it means that you need to buy a duck or generate a duck. In either case, you need some eggs. Either you generated a duck before and you have a duck, or you need to buy some eggs or egg token and create a new duck. So duck hunt is kind of separate, and tokenomics is somehow separate from egg tokenomics, but it helps farms and it helps egg tokenomics. Next question is, in your experience, what is your secret to becoming successful? I don't think I'm successful at all, but I think success is something very subjective. For me, that would be I need to understand that I didn't waste my time, that's it. So when I'm old, I need to understand that I did my best, and actually I did everything I could. And even if I didn't succeed, I did everything that I could. So that would be success for me. Next question, what should the community do so that banking ratio or BR rises to 115? I think, guys, you need to use our products, because we have a number of products that actually need some love, I think, because, for example, ways we change pools, they have a very good profitability, they have a very nice APY, but not so many people use them, So, and definitely if you use, for example, whether you change pools or SwapFi, if you participate in the upcoming IDOs, that would definitely help USDM, because that would create demand for USDM, because basically almost everything in Waves is based on the USDM. So maybe it's wrong actually, because USDM is just a project on Waves, but we tried to push it hard. Maybe it was not such a good decision after all, but I think we are there is no we are past that point of no return, right now. So we have to make an unbreakable, undepackable stable coin out of USDM. And there's no other way to resolve all those issues that we face. And this is what I'm really committing to, because we don't have any other choice. So just help us guys, and just use our products. Next question is, with the current situation of virus, why does puzzle lending come out? What will be the difference between puzzle lending and virus? Will puzzle lending absorb virus? Guys, you need to understand that Waves is a platform. There is many teams building on Waves. And if somebody decides to build a lending platform, we can't do anything about it. It's up to them. I do know Vladimir, of course, but this is his decision actually to build a lending platform. And if somebody else comes to Waves and builds another lending platform, I can't do anything, because it's blockchain, it's decentralized, so we can't tell people what they should or shouldn't do. And I think it's good because it creates some kind of competition, and it actually makes people build better products. Next question. Why is the rebranding of WX? Is the rebranding going to get WX listed on Binance? That's not the goal, guys. Of course, it's not the goal that we are trying to achieve here. Rebranding of WX is needed because we need to somehow separate it from this exchange, so to say, exchange wide, so it's a protocol, it's a network actually. So we must make sure that people understand that it's like a decentralized exchange, at least. And because there is order books there, people don't really understand that quite often. They think it's some kind of a centralized exchange. It's not. And we need to highlight that. We need to emphasize that it's a network, it's a protocol basically. So there is just some front end that you see when you interact with a basic exchange, but actually the exchange itself is decentralized, and there is much more to it than just exchanging tokens, because you can do so many things on the exchange. You can create your token, you can launch your pool, you can vote for pools, you can provide liquidity. There is so many things to the exchange. So it's more of a network than an exchange. And that's why we're trying to do this rebranding and create a product which actually is very self-contained, because on Raise Exchange you can do everything with tokens, from creation to pools to voting to governance. It's like a self-contained token platform. Okay, next question. What can you tell about the Binance situation that happened today? $100 million was stolen. Can something like this happen on Raise Exchange? I don't actually know the details about what happened on Binance. I know that they just rolled back the network, which is kind of weird. Obviously, Binance chain will move forward in some way, So it's not gonna. So I'm not gonna bash them or say anything bad about them. But obviously, it's some kind of a transitional solution, So it's not a final solution, because they had some other chain before based on Cosmos, if my memory serves me. Now they have an Ethereum-based chain, which is kind of centralized, and from business perspective, it was really genius for them to launch it. Because they're businessmen, they want to make money. And it was a very good decision for them to launch Binance Smart Chain. But technically, it's somehow in between, So it's kind of not fully decentralized. It serves their business purpose, but otherwise, it's kind of not quite a blockchain. But it's okay. So I think it will move forward. And it will become more decentralized in the future. So in any case, I wish them all the best. Next question. How can you comment on the situation about blocking accounts by centralized exchanges? Is there an opportunity to block somebody's account on your side? Not really. Actually, there is some gateways and they're still centralized, but there are some teams on Waves that are working on their decentralization. So I think there's not going to be any centralized bridges or gateways on Waves Exchange soon. Maybe Bitcoin, but it will also be replaced by a decentralized solution eventually. So potentially, like some funds can be blocked on the gateways. This is true. But this won't last forever. So eventually, the all will be decentralized. If you use just Waze, if you don't use any external tokens, we obviously can block you because it's a blockchain. Next question. Are you planning to add more tokens to LP staking on the exchange? And what other investment products are coming? When derivatives? Good question. We will have to decentralize our LP staking to show what happens under the hood, what happens to your liquidity, because it was some kind of like cross-chain staking, and we used Curve for Curve pools. You probably know Curve.fi, a project on Ethereum, and we used their pools for LP staking. I think now we'll stop doing that and we'll focus on Waze exchange pools. So basically, when you provide liquidity to LP pools on Waze exchange, you will essentially provide liquidity to Waze exchange pools. And there's going to be this like smart contracts mechanism similar to Y-Earn. It's a famous project on Ethereum. They were the first probably to do that like investment strategy thing, when they just provide liquidity and smart contracts just distribute it between other smart contracts. They select the contracts with the best profitability, and actually don't need to do that yourself because it is done for you by the smart contract, and you just need to provide your like USDT or USDC or like whatever other tokens and just get APY. So this is what we're going to do with LP staking on Waze exchange, because our pools on Waze exchange are probably too hard for users, you know. So I can feel that it's pretty hard for users, for new users, for newbies to figure out how they actually work, what boosting does, and like it's kind of complicated. It's very easy, like for me, or like maybe for people who were in crypto like in 2016 or like, you know. So, but for new users, it's hard, you know. So, and we don't have to say, we shouldn't say that they're like stupid or something. It's not the case, you know. So we just need to build products that are like easier to understand. And I think LP staking is very simple to understand. It's very simple, actually. Just provide liquidity in one token, you get the same token paid to you in profits. It's very simple. So we will actually try to advance that product and make that product like the main investment product on Waze exchange. But to do that, we need to decentralize it, you know. So we need to make sure that people understand that there is no like shady stuff, you know, going on under the hood. So it has to be transparent. People can check the smart contract code. They can see the flow of value from LP staking contracts to Waze exchange pools, and back from the pools to staking contract. So it has to be made transparent, and this is what we are going to do. Next question: is it possible to reduce Virus token inflation ratio or pause it until Virus protocol goes back on its feet? Since holding Virus is meaningless now, maybe we can stop Virus minting. Interesting question, actually. So, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Let me think about it, actually, because yeah, but in any case, this should be some kind of like a governance proposal for the community to vote on. Let me think about it. Maybe it's a good idea actually. But next week there's gonna be a new pools on the virus, and because there is this like legacy markets. You know what I'm like. You know those markets. Some people are stuck there, and we are like trying to resolve this problem as fast as possible. It doesn't go so fast as we planned, unfortunately, because many things are happening, not only in waves, but we're doing our best, and it will be resolved. Because as you know, and if nobody has ever lost any money in waves ecosystem, so if you show me some like case when it happened, I will be very surprised, guys. We had pretty bad things. For example, we had like, if you remember, some like old timers remember Coinomat, which was hacked, and also we didn't really shout about that it was hacked because it was like a weird situation, but everybody was made whole at the end. So I understand that we have some new people that might like not really trust me or think that I'm like trying to rock pull somebody, but it's okay because I've been in crypto for years and I'm like I can live with that. But with those kind of like accusations, but no matter what like you say, guys, so we're gonna resolve this problem. Everybody's gonna be made whole because this is our commitment, and we can't really hurt people. And I mean, it doesn't mean that we try to hurt people. So, but if people are hurt somehow due to some kind of like market conditions or external factors we can't control, we have to make sure that people are fine, because otherwise, why should we do anything at all? Next question is, why is adaptive investing important? So this is about virus. We propose to connect the vesting, use the investing from virus to USDN tag. So when USDN is close to $1, you can take USDN out of virus and sell it, and like take your money out of virus. I think it's important because so we have to. There's no way to resolve virus situation without selling USDN. So because it's all in USDN right now. But if we do it too fast, the peg will be broken, and it doesn't make sense to withdraw a DPEG stable coin, so it's kind of weird. So we need to make sure that this process is flexible and doesn't break the peg. And I think it's a good idea. We have some other ideas that should work well together with adaptive investing. So I think we will launch new markets on virus, so virus holders could have more profits because virus token holders receive their profit. They get APY from the protocol profits, basically. So 10% of the protocol profits goes to virus holders. It's like it's not like that. Basically, 10% of like they get all the protocol profits. There's obviously no like a centralized party that gets profits from this. There is this share of the difference between lending and borrowing interest, and this is a protocol profit, and they go to virus takers. So because we don't have now active markets on virus takers are actually not doing too well. So we need to relaunch the markets, have borrowing and lending going again on virus, and in this case, virus holders will start receiving APY again. So after that, we will come up with adaptive vesting proposal for the community to vote on. And I think it's a good idea because it will actually reopen the vesting, but at the same time, it won't be breaking USDN tag. And combined with some other things, the thing that I mentioned before, this like DAO-based stable coin, I think it can really work, and we can basically, my goal is to turn the situation around, you know, so we're like in a bad spot right now with USDN. Well, let's just turn it around, you know, let's just use the situation to bounce back, you know, like this is what I'm trying to do. I think this is the last question. What's the long-term goal for Neutrino when, if these problems will be resolved? This is going to be like people's stable coin, you know, stable coin that belongs to the community, and stable coin that doesn't have a single beneficiary, and everybody can benefit from it. This is a goal, because algorithmic stable coins are going to stay there, but I think they need some improvement and tweaks. And probably in those setups which are similar to Neutrino or to Luna even, because in a way Luna and Neutrino do have a similar setup. Execution is very different. That's why Neutrino wasn't broken. But this approach, it basically stems from, I always forget the name. There was like a protocol, unlaunched protocol around 2017, basis, I think, yeah. So, which is a different direction for algorithmic stablecoins, because they have DAI, which is good actually. It does have some problems, but it's good because you can't really deepen DAI in a way, because there is some mechanics, there's like over collateralization mechanics, which is actually very nice if you don't want to have your stable coin depacked. But it does have some other issues, but in terms of like depack, it works well. But it requires over collateralization, basically, which is not so good. If you try to create a stable coin without over collateralization, it's like something similar to USDN. Probably you need to make sure that your algorithms are really adaptive to different market conditions. And since you can't predict them all, because if you don't have over collateralization, if you don't have liquidations, it might happen that your coin, stable coin, becomes under collateralized or heavily under collateralized, you know, or there's some like manipulation that, for example, breaks the pack without like breaking the collateral level, and then your collateral is like getting depleted because people are scared and they're just redeeming their stable coins into the underlying asset. There can be very many different situations, because just like maybe I should explain, DAI is not really based on incentives. This is the problem of DAI, because probably there's no incentive to issue DAI. You can bet on Ethereum price going up. In this case, it makes sense to issue DAI. Otherwise, there's not too much incentive to issue DAI. So it's not incentive based, more or less. There is some incentives, but they're pretty weak. And setups such as Neutrino, they're like very incentive based. And the problem with incentives is they don't work at all times. You know, there can be situations where incentive stops working because you create those incentives for normal market conditions. This is a problem. And when the conditions are not normal, that can happen for a very short period of time. but your stable coin can be broken during the time. So that's the problem here. So you have to have a very adaptive strategies here. And we didn't realize that. I must admit that probably nobody realized that. And what happened to USDN was a very good learning experience for us. And we're gonna actually learn from that experience. And the next version of USDN will be much more stable. And the goal is to create an undepeggable, unbreakable stable coin which can be killed. This is our goal, because now it's serious, guys. Because when I started USDN, I just thought that it would be a project on waves that could help waves that could probably absorb some waves liquidity from the market. But probably I didn't take it seriously enough. But now I'm taking it really seriously, because after everything that we've been through, how can I not, so yeah, so we're USDN is going to stay there. We're going to come up with more proposals, and the goal is to make it really undepeggable and unbreakable, and make it capitalization grow, and make it really widespread, and make it really appealing for regular people to use. So I went through 20 questions. I hope I covered most of the questions you have, including like the problems that we face with virus and the USDN. And I must assure you that we are constantly working on resolving them. It might take us more time than we expected, but please bear with us, because we're in this together, guys. So help us help you, basically, because at the same time we have to move forward with our development of other products. I'm really deeply involved in PowerDAO, in Waste 2.0, and some other things. And I think this situation with virus, with USDN, is some kind of incentive or stimulus for us, because it makes us move faster, and it's hard, but we don't have any other choice. So thank you for understanding, and we're gonna have this AMA next week again. So please send your questions. There can be any questions. There can be bad questions, good questions. So at this point, I don't really, I can reply to any questions, including really bad ones. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure as always, and speak to you next week.